Great Song Dynasty, Ningzhou. Ping'an County is one of the 72 counties in Ningzhou. The territory is mostly mountains and hills, and the population is sparse. Lotus Island is the only lake island in Ping'an County. Lotus Island got its name because it looks like a blooming lotus flower. There are many lotus flowers on the island. In the early morning, a scorching sun rose from the east and reflected on the Lotus Island, bringing a touch of warmth to the Lotus Island. In the center of the island, there is a very wide yard, pavilions, and garden corridors everywhere. In the center of the yard, there is a small artificially excavated lake. A large white fog covers the entire lake, and it is difficult to see what is inside. As time passed, the white fog gradually dissipated. There is a large cyan lotus in the lake, and a lotus-shaped stone platform stands in the center. There is a two-story cyan pavilion on the stone platform. Above the entrance of the pavilion, there is a cyan plaque with a length of 10 feet. It has 3 golden characters, Qinglian Pavilion. In a room on the second floor of Qinglian Pavilion, a young man in a blue shirt was 18 or 19 years old sitting cross-legged on a blue futon. The blue-shirted youth has brows like swords, clear eyebrows, black hair and a shawl, giving people a very comfortable feeling. The blue-shirted youth closed his eyes slightly, and the breathing between his nose showed a certain sense of rhythm. As he swallowed and breathed, a little blue light appeared around him, and a faint layer of blue light enveloped his body. Time passed by, and blue light spots poured into his body one after another. The blue-shirted youth opened his eyes, and a gleam of light shot out of them. Finally entered the 5th level of qi refining. Wang Changsheng let out a sigh of relief, and a smile appeared on his thin face. "Ninth uncle, breakfast is ready." A respectful male voice came from outside. Wang Changsheng smiled slightly and said, "Chu Sheng, bring your breakfast in." Wang Changsheng pushed open the door and walked out, walking downstairs. A blue-shirted youth in his 20s pushed open the door and walked in, holding a cyan tray in his hand. On the tray is a bowl of white rice, a plate of clear vegetables and a plate of tofu. The aroma is fragrant and makes people appetite. "Uncle Ju, this is the breakfast that Chu Yu cooked for you. See if it suits your appetite." Wang Chusheng set the meal and stood aside with a very respectful expression. Wang Changsheng frowned slightly, and said, "Didn't I say so? Let's have breakfast together. Why did you only send me the portion? My father has repeatedly told me that Uncle Ninth is an elder, and grandson must be careful to serve him. Uncle Ninth must not be neglected. Uncle Ninth would never dare to eat at the same table with him. I hope Uncle Ninth will forgive me." Wang Chusheng's face tightened as he explained carefully. Wang Changsheng sighed lightly, shook his head, and said, "Forget it, you can go down for breakfast. After breakfast, come and clean up the dishes." Grandson obeys. Wang Chusheng immediately agreed, and after giving a deep bow, he walked backwards out of the Qinglian pavilion. 500 years ago, Wang Yuangang, the ancestor of the Wang family, brought his family to settle in Changping County, Ningzhou. At that time, the Wang family was only a family of 7, but under the protection of 2 foundation building cultivators. The population of the Wang family had more than doubled in less than 100 years. Foundation. After hundreds of years of development, the population of the Wang family has doubled, and the number of immortal cultivators has continued to increase. So far, there are 145 immortal cultivators in the Wang family, as well as hundreds of thousands of people without spiritual roots. The Wang family resides in Qinglian Mountain in Changping County, and most of the Wang family with spiritual roots live in Qinglian Mountain. Qinglian Mountain originally had a first-order high-grade spiritual meridian, but with the efforts of the ancestors of the royal family in all dynasties, the first order spiritual meridian has been cultivated into a second order low-grade spiritual meridian, which can provide enough spiritual energy for foundation building cultivators. As for the hundreds of thousands of Wang family members who have no spiritual roots, they are distributed in 3 county towns in Changping County, namely Ping in County, Qinglian County, and Qingzhou County. The current head of the Wang family is Wang Mingyuan, who is also Wang Changsheng's father. Wang Mingyuan has 4 spiritual roots, and his aptitude is not good. However, he is fair and humble in dealing with others. Wang Yaozong, a foundation-building cultivator of the Wang family, rarely shows up on weekdays, and he practiced in seclusion all year round. Wang Changsheng's mother, Lu Qinga, was a loose cultivator with 3 spiritual roots, and her aptitude was slightly better than Wang Mingyuan's. Wang Yaozhu, Wang Changsheng's grandfather, did not agree with Lu Qinga's entry. Because Wang Yaozhu planned to let Wang Mingyuan marry the direct daughter of the Zhao family in Guangyang County to strengthen the relationship between the 2 families. The strength of the Wang family and the Zhao family was similar. They are friends again, and this marriage is good for both parties. Wang Mingyuan just didn't agree. With a posture of not marrying Lu Qinga, Wang Yaozhu was so angry that Wang Mingyuan was locked up for 3 years. Lu Qinga waited for Wang Mingyuan for 3 years near Qinglian mountain, and he moved Wang Yaozhu, so Lu Qinga came to meet him. Lu Qinga had worked in a refinery shop for 10 years and was an apprentice refiner. When Wang Yaozhu learned about this, he happily agreed to the marriage. Wang Changsheng is the only son, ranking 9th in the same generation. He is the 3 spiritual roots of gold, water and soil. The main spiritual root is water. It is the Yun Yuju, passed down by the Wang family. This exercise is a first-order personality exercise, which can be practiced from the first level of qi refining to the 9th level of qi refining. This exercise is more stable, with fewer bottlenecks, and it is very easy to break through. Wang Changsheng entered the lecture hall at the age of 5, red, and was taught the knowledge of immortality by the elders of the clan. He started to practice at the age of 8, and received 10 kilograms of first-order low-grade spiritual rice every month. At the age of 13, Wang Changsheng was promoted to the 4th level of qi refining, and he could receive 3 kilograms of first-order middle-grade spiritual rice every month. When Wang Changsheng was 16 years old, he was only at the 4th level of qi refining. According to clan rules, there was no need to do anything before the age of 18. The family provided resources for cultivation in exchange for training resources. The Wang family is now unable to make ends meet, and Wang Mingyuan can only let the younger generation come out to work 2 years in advance, so as to increase income and reduce expenditure. This decision was opposed by some clan elders. The clan elders believed that the younger generation was the future of the family, and they should be allowed to cultivate until they were 18 years old. The clan elder was willing to take out his monthly salary and subsidize it to the younger generation. Wang Mingyuan thought this was not a solution to the family's predicament. In order to persuade the opposing clan elders, he invited Wang Yaozong out to hold a clan meeting. As the head of the family, Wang Mingyuan set an example and sent his son out to serve as a celestial master in Ping'an County for a period of 4 years. Ping'an County was the one with the worst conditions among the 3 counties controlled by the Wang family. Wang Mingyuan set an example, and with Wang Yaozong's approval, the voice of opposition disappeared. Because of this, Lu Qinga complained a lot about Wang Mingyuan in private, saying that Wang Mingyuan only had the Wang family in his heart, and had no small family of his own. At the age of 16, Wang Changsheng left Qinglian Mountain and came to Ping'an County with his mother's reluctant eyes on him. Ping'an County is relatively barren and sparsely populated. Tens of thousands of Wang family members live in the county town and nearby villages and towns. Wang Changsheng's mission is to protect the ordinary people of Ping'an County from evil spirits and monsters. Although the people of the royal family living in the secular world do not have spiritual roots, their ancestors have spiritual roots. Therefore, the descendants of these people have a high probability of having spiritual roots. Reading www.youkanshu.com. For this reason, the Wang family sent immortal cultivators to guard the 3 counties under their control to regularly check their spiritual roots. For hundreds of years, there have been more than a dozen people with spiritual roots in the Wang family living in the secular world. Wang Yaozong's parents are mortals. Because of the detection of spiritual roots, they were sent to Qinglian Mountain for cultivation. Successful foundation. Because of the living example of Wang Yaozong, the Wang family attaches great importance to the people who live in the secular world. Of course, the Wang family also attaches great importance to other people. Although the probability of cultivators appearing in the descendants of mortals is very small, the Wang family treats them equally. Secular testing whether the newborn has spiritual roots, so as to replenish fresh blood. The magistrate of Ping'an County is appointed by the imperial court, and the Wang family will not interfere with the county magistrate's handling of government affairs. The Wang family who do not have spiritual roots will not interfere in business or politics, but if their descendants have spiritual roots, they must be sent to Qinglian Mountain. Wang Changsheng has been in Ping'an County for 3 years. He lives on Lianhua Island on weekdays and rarely leaves Lianhua Island. There are no spiritual veins on Lotus Island, and the spiritual energy is weak. The speed of cultivation here is very slow. He has been in Ping'an County for 3 years, but he has only been promoted to a small realm. Wang Changsheng may not be able to advance to the 5th level of qi refining in 5 years. The price of Lingdan was relatively expensive, and Wang Changsheng was too shy, so he chose to eat lingu. He is now in the middle stage of qi refining, so he is suitable for eating the first-order mid-grade lingu. The first-order middle-grade lingu is cooked once every 2 or 3 years, and the price is about 1 or 2 spirit stones. As a celestial master in Ping'an County, there is almost no chance for him to make meritorious deeds. The salary of 1 spiritual stone every month and the 1 kilogram of spiritual grain he bought will soon be eaten up. He has no choice but to eat food without spiritual energy. In addition to Wang Changsheng, there are 10 mortals on the island. These 10 mortals were sent by the family of Ping'an County to take care of Wang Changsheng's food and daily life. Wang Chusheng was in charge of delivering meals and clearing dishes. According to his seniority, he should be called Wang Changsheng as 9th uncle. Wang Changsheng sat down, picked up his chopsticks and took a mouthful of white rice. After breakfast, Wang Changsheng walked out of the Qinglian pavilion, his lips moved a few times, and a large white mist appeared under his feet. After the white fog rolled and condensed, it turned into a mass of white clouds of about a jang size, and suspended there quietly, like a flat ground. The soaring clouds and fog technique is a primary and low-level flying technique. The flying speed is not fast, but if there is no flying magic weapon, most of the monks in the qi refining stage will practice this technique. Wang Changsheng walked to the top of the white cloud, and the white cloud slowly lifted into the sky and flew towards the distance. It didn't take long for Wang Changsheng to land in a valley. The rock walls on both sides of the valley were full of potholes, and there were a lot of gravel scattered on the ground. He often came here to practice spells. Because the spiritual energy of Lotus Island is barren, cultivation is less effective, and he spends most of his time cultivating spells. Wang Changsheng let out a sigh of relief, and began to chant something in his mouth, his hands clasped together endlessly, forming strange seals one by one. After a while, a large amount of blue light emerged from Wang Changsheng's body, and quickly condensed into a crystal ice cone that was about a foot long, emitting bursts of cold air. Go! Wang Changsheng stretched out his hand to hit the stone wall lightly and shouted softly. As soon as the voice fell, the crystal ice cone went straight to the stone wall. After a cracking sound rang out, there was a pit more than a foot deep on the stone wall, and the pit was covered with a layer of frost. Success! When Wang Changsheng witnessed this scene, his face showed joy. The ice cone technique is a primary and middle-level spell, and its power is not particularly great. It took Wang Changsheng more than half a year to finally cultivate the ice cone technique to a great consummation. Spells are divided into 3 stages: entry, small success, and great perfection according to their power and casting time. Under normal circumstances, it takes 10 days and a half to learn a primary spell. If you want to cultivate a primary spell to small success, it takes 2 or 3 months. If you want to practice primary spells to the great perfection, at least it will take more than half a year. To be honest, when Wang Changsheng first came to Lotus Island, a place where birds don, tea poop, he still had a lot of criticism towards his father, but after staying for 3 years, his mood changed and he gradually understood his father's difficulties. In the past 3 years, his cultivation speed is like a turtle crawling, but his mood is much firmer. In addition, he has also cultivated 5 primary spells to the great perfection, and he can cast spells instantly. If he still stays in the family to cultivate, you may not spend so much time practicing spells. A morning passed quickly, and Wang Changsheng practiced spells in the morning. At noon, when he returned to Qinglian Pavilion, Wang Chusheng just brought his lunch. Wang Chusheng put down the meal and left. 2 dishes and 1 soup: steamed green sparrow egg, meatball tofu soup, braised venison. The ingredients are all sent by the Wang family's own clan, and they are all high-quality ingredients. The cook is also a first-class cook. The only drawback is that there is no spiritual energy. Wang Changsheng drank a bowl of soup and was about to use his chopsticks when Wang Chusheng walked in quickly, holding a letter in his hand, his face full of nervousness. 9th uncle. It's strange that people in Wang Jiazhen have died one after another, do you think? Quote. Wang Changsheng raised his eyebrows and asked, "Bring it to me to see." Wang Chusheng did not dare to neglect, and handed the letter with both hands. Wang Changsheng swept his gaze, pondered for a while, and instructed, "Do you know the mayor of Wangjia town?" "I know. According to the seniority, Wang Qinglian, the mayor of Wangjia town, is the 3rd uncle of the grandson. Go back and pack up, bring some dry food, and follow me to Wangjia town." More than 90% of the people in Wangjia town are from the Wang family, and the people of this town are the key protection objects of Wang Changsheng. When something happened to Wang Jiazhen, Wang Changsheng naturally didn't dare to neglect. A quarter of an hour later, Wang Chusheng came to Qinglian Pavilion with a burden on his back. Behind him, there was a beautiful girl in a blue dress. Wang Changsheng looked at the girl in the blue dress and instructed, "Chu Yu, while I'm away, Lotus Island will be handed over to you. If you receive any letter, send someone to Wangjia town immediately." "Yes, Uncle 9th. Walking out of the Qinglian Pavilion, Wang Changsheng moved his lips a few times, and a white cloud rose out of nowhere. Even though it wasn't the first time they saw Wang Changsheng cast spells, Wang Chusheng and Wang Chuyu still had envious looks on their faces. The white cloud carrying Wang Changsheng and Wang Chusheng slowly rose and flew into the distance. After a while, the two disappeared into the sky. Wangjia town is a small town with a population of more than 5,000 people. There is a small river in the north of the town with a width of 30 feet. Along the river is a large area of farmland. The people of Wangjia town live a self-sufficient life by farming and hunting. There is only one street in Wangjia town, and the street is in the north-south direction. There are hundreds of wooden or brick buildings, large and small, at the southern end. One of the courtyards is the most imposing. The 2-foot-high vermilion gate looks majestic. It is covered with shiny copper nails, shining brightly in the sunlight. On the left and right sides of the courtyard entrance, there is a ferocious stone lion on each side. At the door hangs a black plaque with a length of 10 feet, with the 4 golden characters, Wang's Ancestral Hall, engraved on it, which is very conspicuous. In the main hall, more than 20 elderly people over 500 years old gathered together. A rich old man in his 50s or 60s sat on the main seat. The rich old man was Wang Qinglian, the mayor of Wangjia town. Wang Qinglian is 67 years old today. He is the highest-ranking person in Wangjia. He is highly respected and elected by everyone as the mayor. The old men on both sides of him are representatives of various branches of Wangjia town. It is worth noting that, next to Wang Qinglian, there are 2 arresters, one tall and one short, with solemn expressions. The 2 arrests were also members of the Wang family. Originally, they were not qualified to participate in a clan meeting of this scale, but now that there was a murder case, Wang Qinglian asked them to participate in today's clan meeting. A tall and thin old man stood up, cupped his hands at Wang Qinglian, and asked, "Third uncle, what's going on? Haven't the murderer been caught yet? Tianhu and Tianlong are you? For the sake of fast capture, why haven't we caught the murderer after so many days? Uncle Lu, it's not that our brothers are incompetent, but we are incapable of doing anything. The victim has no scars, there are no signs of fighting in the house, and there are no outsiders in the town. This is obviously done by ghosts." The short and fat Chu Kuai smiled wryly. Explained. Although the people of Wangjia town have not been able to cultivate immortals, they all know that there are immortal practitioners in the world, and they also believe that there are ghosts in the world. I'll just say it. It's definitely not man-made, and it's not what I expected. That's right, I guessed it. It was really made by ghosts. Since you know it was done by ghosts, then what are you waiting for? I remember that there are celestial masters in Qinglian County, bless our side. 5th uncle, send someone to invite the celestial master of our family to get rid of the ghosts. Otherwise we will not dare to do so at night. When I sleep, I am afraid of dying in a daze, so I only dare to squint for a while during the day. The representatives of each branch expressed their opinions one after another, and I said one. Wang Qinglian waved his hand and instructed. Okay, be quiet. I have sent flying pigeons to pass a letter to notify the celestial master of my family. Before the celestial master of my family arrives, you should restrain your clan, and don't go out alone at night, so as not to another family member was killed. At this moment, a tall middle-aged man walked in quickly, his face full of joy. Father, cousin Chusheng has brought the celestial master of his family here. When Wang Qinglian heard this, he immediately stood up and asked, "Where is the celestial master? Hurry up and lead the way, but don't neglect the celestial master of this family." After saying this, Wang Qinglian walked out quickly, and the other Wang family members followed. "I'm already here," a man's voice suddenly sounded. Wang Changsheng walked in, and Wang Chusheng followed behind him. "This old man is Wang Qinglian, the mayor of Wangjia town, and I'm meeting with the celestial master." Wang Qinglian bowed to Wang Changsheng and said respectfully, Meet the celestial master. When other members of the Wang family saw this, they saluted. You can't write 2 characters for king with 1 pen, so you don't need to be so outspoken. Tell me what happened. Wang Changsheng waved his hand and said pleasantly. Wang Qinglian nodded and looked at Wang Chusheng. Wang Chusheng understood what Wang Qinglian meant and explained. Uncle 3rd, Uncle 9th learned that Wang Jia town was haunted, and he didn't even bother to eat, so he came right away. Wang Qinglian understood and said respectfully. 9th uncle, this is the case. Half a month ago, a clan member was found dead at home in the morning without any scars on his body. He originally thought it was a murder case, but his nephew let Tianlongshan Hu and the others arrested the real culprit, but they had no clue, and the case did not progress. In the next half-month, people from the tribe were killed one after another. Only then did the nephew realize that it was not good, and hurriedly sent a letter to Ju Shu. Uncle Ju came over so quickly. After listening to Wang Qinglian's statement, Wang Changsheng frowned and asked solemnly, You said just now that people from the clan have been killed one after another. All the people who have been killed are members of the Wang family. This matter is more serious than Wang Changsheng imagined. The appearance of ghosts in Wang Jia town is nothing. If someone is targeting the Wang family, the nature will be different. That's right, so far, a total of 9 people have been killed. Without exception, the deceased were all killed at night, and they all died at home. The corpses showed no signs of scars or fights. Only then did my nephew realize that the murderer was very possibly a ghost. Wang Changsheng frowned. According to Wang Qinglian, the murderer must be a ghost and did not escape. As far as he knows, ghosts like to the essence of living people to feed themselves back. If the essence of living people is sucked too much, their lives are in danger. This ghost may be local or foreign. The former is fine. The latter is troublesome. Wang Changsheng thought for a while and asked, Is there a mass grave in Wang Jia town? Or is there anything particularly strange happening? There is no mass burial mound in this town. Our ancestors had cultivated immortals. The mass burial mound will accumulate yin, and ghosts are prone to appear. If someone dies and is not buried, his nephew will send someone to burn the body, and mass burial is never allowed. Mass burial, nothing strange has happened recently, Wang Qinglian replied one by one. No, Uncle San, Tofu Shishi Xiaofeng disappeared more than a month ago. Chunky Chu Kuai hesitated and reminded. Wang Changsheng frowned, and asked in a deep voice, Missing? Haven't anyone been found yet? What is the origin of this Tofu Shishi? Is he also a member of the Wang family? No, 9th uncle. Xiaofeng is not from the Wang family. She is 18 years old, and she is quite handsome. There is also a blind old lady at home. Xiaofeng sells tofu for a living, and is nicknamed Tofu Shi. More than a month ago, Xiaofeng suddenly left the booth. Because her mother was weak and sick, Xiaofeng had to take care of her mother. When I came to the door, I found out that Xiaofeng's mother was dead, but Xiaofeng was not at home, so my nephew sent someone to look for her for a while, but she couldn't find Xiaofeng. So she burned the body. How did Xiaofeng's mother die? After the test, her mother was starved to death. Xiaofeng has lived with her mother since she was a child. It is impossible for her to leave her mother. This case has been investigated for more than a month, and there is no clue, so it is over. Xiaofeng. Not long after her mother died, some members of the clan were killed. Uncle San, it's not Xiaofeng's mother who came back to seek revenge for us. We didn't hurt her before. The year before Xiaofeng's house couldn't open the pot, I even gave her 10 pounds of white rice. When she died, she came to harm us. Revenge for kindness. Wang Tianhu said with some dissatisfaction. Wang Qinglian glared at Wang Tianhu and reprimanded unceremoniously. You still have the face to say that you threatened Xiaofeng and wanted her to marry you. But Xiaofeng didn't agree. Didn't you still take back the 10 kilograms of white rice? Is there such a thing? Wang Changsheng looked at Wang Tianhu with a puzzled face. When Wang Tianhu saw Wang Changsheng looking at him, his face tightened, and he said honestly, "It's true, but I didn't pester Xiaofeng anymore, so I can come back to seek revenge for us because of this." Lia Mazi also peeked at Xiaofeng. Feng is taking a bath. If her mother turned into a ghost and came back to take revenge, why didn't she find Lia Mazi? Lia Mazi is still alive and well. Lia Mazi. Send someone to find him. I have something to ask him. Wang Qinglian nodded and instructed the middle-aged man beside him, Chu Xian, go and invite Lia Mazi here. The middle-aged man responded and turned to leave. Wang Changsheng pondered for a moment, then asked, before Xiaofeng disappeared, did anything strange happen? Or was there any sign? Wang Qinglian shook his head. You reading www.youkanshu.com looked at the others and asked, do you know? If you know, tell Uncle Ju. If you dare to hide the facts, you will be punished severely. Do not know. The Wang family members who were present shook their heads and said in unison. They have their own lives, and it is impossible to stare at Xiaofeng every day. Wang Changsheng looked at Wang Tianhu and said, what about you? You like Xiaofeng. Do you know that? Wang Tianhu shook his head and said seriously, my grandson usually works in the yamen, so it's impossible to stare at Xiaofeng every day. I failed to ask for a marriage before, and my family told me about a marriage. I just got married. How dare I provoke Xiaofeng? At this time, Wang Xuxian walked in with a middle-aged man with a pockmarked face. The middle-aged man's face was as long as a horse's face. His eyes were extremely small, and his face was pockmarked, giving him a dirty feeling. Wang Changsheng looked at the middle-aged man, frowned and asked, you are Lia Mazi. Does Xiaofeng's disappearance have anything to do with you? Hai Fatty has asked several times. Why do you still ask? They all said that it has nothing to do with me. I peeked at her bathing, but her disappearance has nothing to do with my fart. Lia Mazi grinned, revealing a mouth of yellow teeth. Which is disgusting. Lia Mazi, keep your mouth clean. In front of you is my 9th uncle. Wang Xuxian frowned and reprimanded unceremoniously. Your 9th uncle is not Lao Tzu's 9th uncle. He's doing Lao Tzu's bullshit. Lia Mazi disagreed. Wang Tianhu's face became cold, and he said with a gloomy face, Lia Mazi, I advise you to keep your mouth clean. If Zhu Zhengzhu asks you anything, you can answer honestly. And if you want to go to jail, just say it. Quote, after hearing this, Lia Mazi reluctantly said, if you have any questions, just ask. I promise to answer honestly. Quote,